So, hello, Mark. Thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
Oh, doing very well, especially during this time, healthy and everything. So I'm doing pretty good.
So, I'm going to have to ask because obviously we're based in the UK and we're obsessed with the weather. So, I'm going to have to ask you, what's the weather like where you are at the moment? It looks quite blue behind you.
Oh yeah, you gotta love the background here. But actually, it's about 100 degrees outside right now, so it's very, very hot. It's very indicative for the day.
Excellent. It's actually not too bad here in the UK as well, which is very rare. So I wanted to have a quick chat with you today, a little bit about what's been going on with you in your school. So for the benefit of our viewers, so you work as a regional coach for Imagine
Yes.
Schools, and I, I think we'd be interested to know a little bit about how COVID has affected you and your schools over in the US.
Mhm. Yeah. So with COVID, we shut down back in March, and we had to go into a fully digital realm, which is very foreign to us. It's something that we're learning on the fly still. But now that we're moving into our second or the beginning of a new school year, we now have a little bit more insight on what we can do. We're using different platforms, as you know, the Google Classroom. We're being more resourceful. We're really scouring the internet for any way that we can help out. And we're also getting a lot more PD too. There's like Gemini provides PD. We have PD from IDE. There's so many different resources that we're trying to use to make sure that we're really prepared for our scholars when they come back.
Yeah, it must have been quite hard for you because your role is quite hands-on, isn't it? You're
Mm-hmm.
meeting lots of different teachers and educators and having conversations with them all the time. So, how have you been using VEO during this crisis?
Right. So it's a bit different from when we were in the classroom versus now digital. So in the classroom, I would meet with a teacher before time and say, "Hey, this is our pre-talk. We're going to video this lesson. Here are a few things that we're looking for." Then we would go in and video the lesson. Then after that lesson was videoed, I would go and I would tag it using some of the tag sets that you had in there, make some different comments, and then share it with the teacher. And I love the fact that the teacher also can share back with me. So a lot of times I will work with the teachers and they will say, "Oh, I didn't notice this. And can you look out for so and so, or can you look out for this for me too?" So it's a very open conversation. So it's never VEO doesn't make it one-sided. It's not like I got you or you're doing terrible or these are where you're doing great. It's a very open conversation, which is amazing because as a coach, we're not someone who is going in and trying to um, do a whole bunch of I got you. So it's more of a how can we help you get better, and we're learning and bouncing ideas off of each other. So
It's
sorry, yeah. So virtually, it's a little bit easier because I can just record maybe the Zoom and upload it. But it's still the same things apply. I still tag them, and then we still talk back and forth with the teachers.
Yeah, so there's two things there that was really interesting for me that stood out. So, uh, firstly, you know, actually getting teachers to record their lessons and send them to you. Did you get? Was there a bit of worry about that from the teachers when you first started using VO?
Yeah, at first, just like anyone, they don't want as teachers, we're shy. We love to teach in front of the kids, but then when we're sharing with other scholars like ourselves, it's more like I don't know if I want to have myself videoed or you know. But video is really reassuring because I'm only sharing it with you. You have to have an account, and I can only share with you, and it's not something I can take off and share with a whole bunch of other people. So that's a conversation you have to have up front. Like, look, this is something that is just going to be between me and you. It's just to help you to grow and help me to grow also.
And what you're saying there about Zoom, now that's fascinating because I know we've had a huge issue here in the UK with the schools that I work with here and having to very quickly transition from classroom teaching in terms of what teachers have been trained to do for many years and a experience with that to very quickly having to do online lessons, which has been a real
Mm-hmm.
baptism of fire for schools in the UK. And I don't think we always have the same kinds of mechanisms that it sounds like you have there with these regional coaches that are set up. to support teaching and learning. So how have teachers responded to that ability to get a bit of support from yourself through VEO with their Zoom lessons?
Oh yeah, so being a coach, it allows you to have the best of both worlds, because I still get to work with the teachers, I still get to work with the scholars, and I'm not there as an administrator, because they look at the administrators, the principals, the vice principal with a totally different lens than when they look at us. I'm not going in to evaluate, I'm going in to help. And I have a sign on my side, it's like, I am here for you. So everything that I'm doing is to help you to grow. There's never a time where I'm like, all right, I don't think I can work with you. So as a coach, this is something that's starting to take over America now, and I'm hoping it can come over to the UK, where it's kind of that intermediate where it's okay, we can make mistakes, let's help each other grow. And VEO is helping us with that, because we can show it in real time and look, here is what's happening. Here are some suggestions that we would make, or what do you think about this, or how could we do this better? It allows us to ask more questions instead of just going in at the moment with just a notepad and saying, okay, I like this, I didn't like that. So they can see the whole picture. They can see themselves doing the teaching and see what we were talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely understand that from what we've seen with some of the customers that use VEO here in the UK. I know that when teachers see themselves in the video footage of their own teaching, at first can be a bit of a shock, and then they very quickly pick up on areas that they think they're doing really well and where they want to improve on. I'm interested to know from your experience, because obviously you've been coaching for some time without having this technology, and then you've also been coaching for some time with it. How do you think it's affected that feedback process? Do you think that teachers are actually changing their behaviors more or less, or about the same from using VEO?
Yeah, so it allows you to really have a more in-depth conversation with the teachers. But the other things I loved about it is that I actually challenged myself by recording the conversations I'm having with those teachers. So
Yeah.
look, I'm also using this to help myself grow. So I tag myself, or I ask them to tag me and say, okay, what was the question I could have asked here? Or how could I handle this situation a little bit better? So that way, that two-way street is definitely more open. It's not just a, hey, I'm above you and you have to do this. It's like, no, I'm also using it myself. So I think VEO worked really well with that. Our leader challenged us to not only record the teachers, but to record ourselves. So that way we built that trust with our teachers.
So it sounds like what you've almost done is kind of transform the culture in a way to have more of a culture of reflective practice through using the tool within your school. And I wonder how long it took for that kind of shift and pattern and change to take place within the school, do you think?
Yeah, it's something that's still growing. It's we rolled it out with about 4 or 5 teachers,
Yeah.
and the more that it got out, the more teachers want to kind of join on, because they saw it as a growing opportunity, not an opportunity for I got you or whatever. So this year I'm going to be working with about 6 or 7 different teachers using it.
Brilliant. Well, I'm really fascinated to stay in touch with you and to learn a bit more as to how your journey with VEO continues over the coming months and years, and perhaps after COVID pandemic as well. But it's been fascinating talking to you about your experience with VEO during the pandemic. And thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.